Yay!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's Medium Jodi Jones and
Rebecca Tomlinson.
And we are here to do our soul-to-soul conversations with you guys today. So we'll talk a little bit just until everybody starts to come on, because I know it takes a couple minutes for people to find us. We're going to do a little bit different today, just because I think the whole vision of doing our live soul-to-soul conversations is to help people see that there is so much more to, this experience they're having as a human being. And really, we kind of all face the same struggles. We face the same kind of challenges. And so Rebecca and I were talking a little bit before coming on today about how if I was to take myself back in time to about 12 years ago, I really didn't have, I was not in this world or this realm. I wasn't into alternative healing and spiritual. I mean, I've always been spiritual and I've always believed in something greater than myself, but I really didn't have any of the tools per se.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about this the other day while I was having a bath, where most of my inspirational ideas come when I'm soaking in water. I had the idea of, there are so many people who are having struggles, day-to-day struggles, and just this human thing becomes a struggle. And there's a lot of people out there who just really don't even have any access to any of the tools. Like, it just hasn't come into their awareness yet. And I thought, that's not a great place to be. And so part of the reason, that we have these struggles and we have these challenges in our human experience is so that we can shine the light for others, right? And, Rebecca and I are, when we come on here and we're polished and we look pretty and we sound like we know what we're talking about, trust me when I say we have had our own struggles and our own challenges through this human experience. And I'm sure we will continue to. We're not, we haven't reached enlightenment. We're not Dalai Lama or Jesus or Buddha. We're still here in this human vehicle having these human experiences. So we will continue to learn. And of course, through these challenges, we learn so that we can help our clients,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And so I think for what our next focus for the next one we do in August, we are going to actually bring on a guest speaker. And so our question is going to be, hi, everybody that's tuning in. Our question is going to be, what has been one of the biggest challenges for you in this lifetime? And what are some of the tools that you found most helpful? And how did you help yourself, or who did you find help through? And I'm hoping that when we do this, when everybody tells their stories, it will, again, we all have so many similarities. We really do. You may, when you're going through a struggle or a challenge, you may feel that you're isolated and you're alone. But trust me, we've all been there. We all will be there. And we all would like somebody to shine the light on the answers for us so that we don't have to sit in the dark by ourselves for too long. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So for today's format, I know you guys are used to doing the mediumship readings with us and doing the psychic readings. Today's format's going to be a little bit different. We still will be channeling spirit. We're still going to get our answers from a higher source. That's, it's not just going to be coming from the two beings sitting in front of you. But I want you guys to really give us the questions of some stuff that you're struggling with, or a challenge that you're facing, and it can be, physically, mentally, emotionally. The really cool thing about Rebecca and I doing this together is that, we've got 20 years combined experience on all levels.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so there's probably very little that we haven't either experienced ourselves.
Yeah. Personally or professionally.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have, a massive, our tickle trunk is massive to be able to pull and get information for you. So any questions that you have related to spirituality, related to your path, related to your progress, related to your challenges, that's what we're going to do today. And we did bring our cards. Rebecca and I have got a couple of decks of cards that we will play with, just because we know you guys like the cards. And so we will pull some messages for you guys as well. But I really want this to be like, and something that you can go back and watch, Because the coolest thing happens when we actually like stop and listen for a while, right? How many times have you guys, either you read something in a book or a friend says something to you, or you turn the TV on for a second, and in that split second, you get this aha. You get these, you get it, and you're like, oh, wow, that was awesome. That's what I want these talks to be about. I want there to be many, many aha moments for everybody. So as we do this, of course, the big thing that with the group that I've been doing online is the raising our vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely. As we do this, and collectively, guys, when we do this, it gets easier and easier, right?
Absolutely.
Because my energy feeds off her energy feeds off mine. When you guys tune into us, we collectively are becoming one big energy ball. And so we are going to make our ball shiny and bright.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let's get started. And Rebecca's going to be I was looking for the mouse.
I'm in control of the comments here. All right, so we have June asking for a reading.
And so we can click on, I think there's some specific, so let's do here, and then we can go in.
Yep.
Yes. And it comes up there. Does it work? Is it blocking our faces too bad? Not too bad?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit higher. But all right. So Stephanie's asking, I'm feeling so lost and stuck in my life. How do I overcome this? And I feel like this is something extremely universal that people deal with.
We were just talking about this again too.
Yes, yeah. And one of the things that we were just discussing, I feel is a very, very helpful understanding, is that everything in life has seasons. Everything in life comes in phases. Things ebb and flow. It's the nature of this world, right? I mean, the nature of spirit is a consistent eternalness, right? That is the nature of of the creation of unity. But while we are still here in this world and experiencing this life, there is that ebb and flow, and it's part of the nature of life while we're here. So why I wanted to start with this was that it's really that understanding that you're often, when we feel lost or stuck, it's often coming from a place of resistance in us where we are resisting where we're at right now. So we were just kind of talking about how, for example, often things are talked about in like 4 quarters, 4 seasons, that there's usually 4, even in pregnancy, there's considered cycles. 4 trimesters. Yeah, everything comes in cycles, right? And often that comes in that kind of sowing of the seeds, like that's more that springtime energy, like really laying that idea of what we want to have later. Summertime is when we're taking care and what's the word? Taking care, like farming, working with what we planted. And then fall time is that harvesting, that reaping. And then winter is that dormant time where there's that rest. So in our life, and these things could happen within a day, they can happen within a week, a month, a year, a couple years, but there's always phases in our life. And like I said, a lot of when we feel stuck or lost is because we're resisting that place that we're at right now. So perhaps, Stephanie, for you, it's being a reflection of like, what is sort of the overarching theme right now for you of where are the resistances coming? Is it that you're trying to push something that maybe is not ready? Is it that you feel so ready and so ready to go, but you don't know where to put it? So maybe taking some time to reflect on what kind of the overarching themes or like the nature of the issues are that you feel stuck in, and that maybe there's a part of you that's not really in the right season to move into that phase, that you maybe need some added pieces to be able to move on, that you need to go more into that what I call that prayer mode of being like, okay, I'm stock full of what I can know right now. I'm going to let myself enter into the space of the power of not knowing, saying what I call the power of I don't know, and let God, universe, whatever name you give to that universal understanding that is our highest self, that we are unified with all, be able to feel that answer, right? That it's like, I'm recognizing that these are some areas that are not working, but that maybe I can take that step back and create that space again, saying, I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to just keep plugging forward. It's like you wouldn't sow seeds in fall or winter. I mean, there's some that you do, but very rare exceptions. But generally, that's not the time for it. So perhaps, and I see this so many times in my practice, it's just a matter of like, if we just took ourselves back be like, where am I right now? That it's that I do need a little bit more downtime. I do need to be maybe taking care of what I've already put in place. You know, these are all kind of questions that you can kind of run yourself through. Maybe there's things you already have going
Right.
that you don't want to be paying attention to, and that's a common one for all of us, right? But that maybe would be do better if you did give more energy and attention to it. So that's kind of my first feelings on that.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me think about, so I actually had the privilege of studying with Dr. Yvonne Oswald, who is a master hypnotist and brilliant lady all around. And I can remember one of the classes I took with her, she does a lot of numerology in the stuff that she does. And so numerology is, you know, the numbers have a vibration, they tell stories, right? And and so she talked, it was interesting, and I'd never thought about this before. But she had said that there will be years or periods, times in your life where it will be relationship time for you. And so meaning that everything, so if you were to work on your relationship during that time in your life, everything will go well. It'll go smoothly. The love will happen. It'll be awesome. Just as there will be times in your life when it's supposed to be your career time, you're supposed to be focusing on, you know, the money and the success. There's supposed to be times when it's your physical health time. And it was interesting because she said, what will happen, and we don't realize this, is that we could be in one of our cycles, right? So say, for example, right now, you are supposed to be in a career cycle, but your focus is on a relationship, and your focus is on fixing a relationship or a failing relationship or even a great relationship, and you're putting all of your energy into it. What will happen is it won't go well. It won't go with ease. It won't, because it's not its time, right? And this is interesting how, and especially for, you know, humans now, we have so much on our plate, right? We're busier than we've ever been in our entire lives.
And more aware of the world as a whole.
Absolutely.
You know? And there's a lot of disturbing things going on, right?
And for most of us, I think, you know, and Rebecca and I, you know, we're both parents, we're both self-employed, we've got a lot of balls going up in the air. And one of the things, and I was talking to Rebecca about this earlier, is that we always have this sense of that we have to always be on. We always have to be working it. It always has to be, you know, and when it doesn't work for us, we feel lost and stuck, and we feel like things are not working. And so just like Rebecca had said, everything comes in cycles, and sometimes we have to honor those cycles. Sometimes we have to, you know, something I've been working on myself is actually just allowing myself to be in ease.
Yes. And that is a change of mind. And that's something available to you. Like my wording would be peace is always a choice.
Right.
Ease is always a choice.
Right.
You know, that's always something that we can just turn ourselves into a different mode. Still dealing with the same issue, still dealing with whatever's in front of us.
Right.
But in a different mode. Right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
A different perspective.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, like, you know, like Rebecca says, this doesn't have to be for a week, a month, a year. It could be for a couple of hours. It could be for a day. But you need to allow yourself to get into that place of neutrality. So just that place of, you know, not thinking about what you have to do, not worrying about what you have to do, not focusing on what you have to do or what's not working, just being in that. And I mean, we do this in meditation.
Yeah.
Right. This is why we meditate, to create space, to be able to open up so that we have space and there's that nothingness there. But we have to do it in our actions as humans as well.
Very much so.
So Stephanie, I really think for you, if you could just kind of, you know, allow yourself to take the weight of the world off your shoulders for a little bit. And this is, again, going back to the teaching of Dr. Yvonne Oswald with the numerology. If it's your time right now to be focusing on your career and your focus is on your love life, that love life is not going to fall apart because you take away the energy and you bring it back to your career. It will maintain itself. So meaning whatever it is, whatever ball you've got going that you're working on, the other balls will continue to keep themselves afloat while you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you can you can allow yourself that I don't have to juggle 12 balls today. I can just juggle my one ball. I can hold on to my one ball. I can throw the other 11 balls out to the universe, and the universe is going to take care of them because I'm going to bring my energy, my focus, and my attention into what I'm supposed to be working on now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually keep being called to your language here too, of you saying, how can I overcome this? Whereas like this is not something that we need to recognize there's a problem, therefore it needs to be like changed. It's more like this is something that we need to move through, like be fully and totally engaged. I mean, what I've learned over the years is engagement is like 100% always the part of the answer. To be 100% where you're at and not needing it to be different because you feel like it should be, right? And really like letting go of those attachments of any way in which you're like, I'm resisting where I'm at right now. I'm not sure of this. I think it should be different. It should be up here and I'm here. And like that's where our discomfort comes from, is our judgments. But when we can come back and say, I don't know, and like I need a wisdom and an understanding of the perfection of where my life is at right now in all these avenues that isn't of your own mind. It's not coming from your own judgment, and it never can. That's where you have to open up again to God, universe, and say like, I need your wisdom and your understanding of where I'm at right now. And it could be as simple as like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need to focus on this, or I need to become more aware of that, or what I was talking about, the seasons, or what Jodi was offering, that those things will come together. But you really need to create the space, and first of all, not feel like you have to overcome this, but in fact be even more present with it. The more that you're discomforted, the more you need to lean in and be more engaged.
Right. And play with the energy of your language as well, right? When I say I'm stuck or I need to overcome this, it really is very blocking. Like energetically, it's blocking. And we know that you're trying to do the absolute opposite of it, right? Yeah. And so again, we've been doing the daily mantras on the Raising My Vibration in 2018 group. And some of the things we need to be aware of is what our language is like within ourselves. And so for you, Stephanie, I would absolutely come up with a mantra that allows you to feel like you're still doing something, you're still taking inspired action, but also that it feels like it's coming from a place of ease instead of a place of resistance.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Awesome. I hope that is helpful for you. Okay, do you want me to do this?
Yeah, you trust. Take the next one.
Okay, so we're gonna... And welcome everybody who's joining us on here. I hope you guys have your questions ready for us, and we are going to get to everybody as much as we possibly can. So give us your questions, guys, your challenges, anything that's happening with you, any insight that you need, anything that you want to talk about, that you want to share with us. This is the forum to do this in. It's an absolute safe and sacred space that we are going to be doing with this. I bring in my team of guides and angels. Rebecca's got hers, you've got yours. And so we have a pretty cool vibration going with this, right? Okay, so Felicia is saying, please, I need closure from a friend that passed. There are a lot of unanswered questions with their passing, and I feel like I can't move on until I know what happened. Okay, so again, today we're not going to be doing actual reading, so we're not going to be bringing in, but Felicia, I want you, for the sake of what's happening with you right now with this, I want everybody to understand, and this is being a medium, it's probably it's what I work with, right? I work with death and grief and loss, and one of the things we need to remember is that, again, so we're all magical souls. Felicia, you're a magical soul that has come here. This friend that you had, your good friend, was also a magical soul. And we all, as souls, we all come here for reasons. We've got life experiences to experience, lessons to learn, and we also have exits. Okay? And so we all have many different exits in our lives. And sometimes when we choose an exit, it can be have a lot of questions around it or a lot of drama around it. And Felicia, the thing that you need to understand here, though, is that your friends, that's their story that they're living, right? Like that's their journey. And so you really kind of have to pull yourself out. We put, first of all, and I should start with this, as human beings, we put so much weight and so much energy into death and dying and endings. And it's really, we put such a darkness on it. Right? Like we think it's a tragic accident and it's a tragedy that this happened, but it's actually not. Again, it's part of the cycle, right? It's the cycle. Without getting rid of these physical bodies and transitioning, we can't come back and do it over again. And that's what we need to do. So Felicia, totally understand that. So the energy around your friend that has passed, there was so much going on for that person here. There was so much, like, if I just tune into it, there was so much on a soul level that was going on, that life lessons that just weren't being grasped, that things just were not, the person was just not getting them well enough. And when this happens, our souls will actually choose to exit because it's time to come back, right? It's time to go back, regroup, and come back and do the life lessons again. So my advice for you, Felicia, though, is honestly, for as much as you love this person, for as much as this person was a part of your life, you real yourself and honor your soul's journey here and bring your story back to you here now, what's happening with you in your life. Because they're telling me that it's a distraction for you right now. So they're saying to me that you're using that passing as a distraction from what you're supposed to be focusing on and what your soul is here to do. Okay, so keep that in mind, because it'll often be our ego and our pain body that will give us these distractions. I see it in my practice all of the time. People that have lost somebody that they loved, and years and years and years later, they're still talking about this person like they just passed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I'd like to say it's a waste of your time, not to be cold or mean or hard about it, but it's a distraction. That's your pain body telling you that you need to, if you need to worry about this person, you need to worry about that problem. In actuality, you don't, because that's that person's story. They're living their story. You need to focus and bring your attention back to your story.
Yeah, and I hear what Jodi's saying in terms of, it feels like you are very much at a stop right now, and that's the part that's the waste of your time, to really allow this drain on your energy, to say, like, I won't let anything move forward until I have this resolution. So, and something very a simple teaching I often work with came forward of, often we set ourselves up that I will not be at peace until I have understanding about X, whatever. Until this happens. Until I understand this.
Right.
So this is us in our humanness setting up stipulations and being like, all right, universe, God, I'm not going to be like okay with what is going on in my life, who and what I am, who and what I was created to be, and all this perfect synchronicity that I'm not seeing. I'm not going to be okay with it until I get the understanding that I demand to have.
Right.
But what's so interesting is that it's actually always the flip side around, which is that you don't have the understanding first. You actually need to seek the peace first, in whatever form that comes for you, through prayer, through meditation, through being like just finding ways to be still and to really embrace what is going on right now, and to flip that equation you've made on its head and say, I can be at peace now. And then what's so beautiful is that then the understanding comes. And I've seen this so many thousands of times, personally and professionally, that once I let go of my stipulations, then the peace that I was seeking in the first place will come all on its own. You'll just have a spark, or it'll just start to naturally come to you. But you have to first seek that peace first that you were making as a stipulation before you have it. I trust that makes sense, and I trust that's helpful.
Yes, absolutely. And again, so because I experience this with my practice, right, I have families that will come in that have lost children, that have lost, young adults, or I will do work with families where there are questions about the passing, and there's drama around the passing and things are unanswered. And when I bring in these families and I see them, it's so much time and so much energy goes into the turmoil and the sadness and the anger and all of, and everybody, collectively shares this whole experience of the loss and the grief and the asking the questions and why this and who that. And it's really, but it doesn't, my point is, it doesn't serve a lot of purpose, right? Because they do this pain and this suffering and this torture. And for some families, they will drag that on for years and years and years through the courts or through the, and it doesn't change anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't change the person's passing. It doesn't change your experience. except for making you live a tortured life, making you have that energy of that kind of pain and suffering for much longer than is needed.
Yeah.
And trust me,
and becoming more bitter with the universe,
right,
and in trusting even less,
right,
when trusting is the actual like lifeblood of how to get out of these situations,
right, right,
the peace and seeking that trust, because that's the whole, I know it's there before I see it. Right. And that is the nature of our relationship with God and the universe, is saying like, I trust there is a plan here, there is a perfection here that I'm not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that I want to, above all else, I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you have to realize you've put blocks in the way of that, whatever the topic might be. You know, there's many questions coming forward here, but really these understandings apply to all of them.
Right.
You know, that there's things that you may not be seeing because you have created stipulations. You're like, and this is always my joke. It's like, okay, universe, I want this little box. This is what I've decided that I want. When the universe is like, I want to give you everything, but you're asking for this, and like, right, these things are not compatible together. But this is what you've set yourself on with your judgments and your ideas. When really, like, when you let go of that stipulation, that's when you actually can start receiving.
Right. And trust me when I say, when I bring through spirit, when I bring through your loved ones that have passed over, whether it's a dramatic passing, whether they've taken their own life, whether they're, you know, somebody has taken their life, they don't put much energy into it. I'm telling you, you would think, you know, I get people that come and they want to hear the answers and they want to know all of the stuff. And when spirit comes through and they do talk about their passing, it's the smallest part of the reading. It honestly is. And energetically, when they're coming through, they really are kind of like, yeah, it was just a page. And then the page turned. Let's talk about this now. I want to talk about the happy memories we had and the happy experiences that I had. And right, like that, honest to God, they make such a, they downsize it so much. And every single time that I've had that, whether, like I said, whether it's been a murder or a suicide or a spirit spends no time on the passing. And I think that's the big lesson that and they're lighting me up totally right now. So that's the big lesson for us here. And I hope, Felicia, for you, this will be your message, is that there's no, you don't need to put your energy into that because it's the tiniest little blip. It's not the big picture. Right? Okay. Yeah. I hope that that's helpful. And trust that, you know, again, just shifting your focus and your awareness to something else is going to make things change for you. Absolutely. Okay. So I know I'm going to try and get, let's bring Olivia on.
So which way do I need to go from here to live a good, healthy life? And my girl, will she be okay health-wise? So I feel like anything, when we are wanting to make a shift in our life and make a new decision, there really is this unique energy in our life once we make a decision about something. Not just, oh, I think this would be a nice idea. Like, we have many, many, many ideas. Mm-hmm. They're quite
sometimes
infinite.
Too many.
Oh, right? Way too many. And of opposing ideas, you know, this is where a lot of our conflict comes from, right? Because we really let our mind serve two masters. We really serve both inspired, unified thoughts and separated, insane thoughts. And this is the nature of our minds. Mm-hmm. So, but when we have something, when we're feeling called to something like a good, healthy life, and even that in of itself, as a nutritionist, I know there's a lot of conflict in simple things like, are avocados good for you? Or it could be literally anything.
10 different books and get 10 different ideas of what you're supposed to be eating or not eating, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, with anything like this, it's really breaking it back down to what is the essence of the energy that you are wanting to make a decision about. You know, so for whatever language that would be for you. So I find often it's like, I am ready and I want to like move completely into living in alignment with my highest good. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I find that's one of the more powerful statements. Mm-hmm. So, which in turn will include a good, healthy life. But this is all about like that whole and healthy, and the whole is part of that you have to approach it in a wholeness, mm-hmm. not just like, oh, I'm going to just focus on my diet or just focus on this aspect of my life, but really approach it from the whole aspect, from a decision standpoint, that you're like, this is the way I'm going to live my life, which also means that when you have little slip ups, say in your diet or your bad day or whatever, that whole and healthy perspective and decision will embrace that and not see that as a failure, but be like, hey, I'm going to have days that I'm not going to feel off, but I'm instead of berating myself, I'm going to say to myself, well, what happened today? Why was I off? Why was I making odd decisions throughout the day? And giving that space and time to air that out to yourself. Because when you're wanting to make a healthy life for yourself, this isn't so much about hashing out the details so much as being extremely clear on the decision itself and what that means to you in its essence. What is it that means to you? Does that mean that you will be more able to be fully yourself? I mean, that's how I always really see it, that means like you are a clearer channel for your true awareness of your soul to come in you, right? Mm-hmm. So be clear on what aspects of that are you excited about right now? So, okay, I want a whole and healthy life. Then what does that look like? Okay, so my first thoughts are about diet. Well, what am I excited to feel from my diet? What am I excited to feel from my lifestyle? What am I excited to feel in every area of my life from that decision that I want to make? And once you make that decision, be clear on that and reinforce on a daily basis, however you want to go about that, through mantras, through writing it on your bathroom mirror, however works for you, or daily reminders on your phone, however works for you to keep that in your space and keep that decision in your language, in your words of what that essence is. That's one of the best ways that I know of, because from there, then you will be led to the sources. There's thousands and millions of websites. There's millions of practitioners. Of course, there's ourselves as well, and always happy to help in any capacity. Mm-hmm. But the decision comes first, right? And to realize it has to come from a whole and healthy perspective that's going to include all of your mistakes, because there are going to be some, that will be included in that.
Right.
Yes. So that's my first part of it.
And so, Olivia, when I just kind of tune into your energy, they're really telling me that you need to embrace who you really are, because they're making me feel like there's a part of you that's still either you hide it, or it's behind closed doors, or you're not able to, let the light shine on who you really are. And so they're making me feel like for you, it's not so much like about your diet, but it's really kind of having that connect with yourself and letting down your guard, letting down your barriers, letting down that block, and being like, okay, world, this is who I am. This is my life. This is my lifestyle. And I'm going to rock it because it makes me feel good. And so they're talking to me about guilt and shame around you. So be really, really mindful of having the vibration of guilt and shame in your experience, because they serve you no purpose, okay, other than holding you frozen in time, so either in the past or keeping you projected into the future. And so they're telling me that this is really important for you to let go and release of this. And again, so with your and it feels to me, and Olivia, leave us a comment, obviously, with this, but when you talk about my girl, will she be okay health-wise, again, it's the same thing. Like when I tune into that energy, it feels like it's very, like it's emotional stuckage that would be causing any kind of physical stuff. And again, it's almost like the denial or the not allowing yourself, again, they're saying that again, that to be who you are, to be true to yourself, and to do it without having any apologies or having any guilt or any shame with that. And so really look into embracing that, okay? The standing up for who you are, but also they're telling me to make sure that you do this in a softer way. So not in an angry,
militant way.
Exactly. So not because again, that vibration, everything is about vibration, and we need to make sure that when we are approaching something or doing something or living something, we need to make sure that the vibration is one that will work for us, that will serve a purpose for us. And so when you're standing up for yourself and standing up for who you are, make sure that you're doing it out of self-love, right? You're really doing it with a softer heart, with a more, I love myself, I love my partners, this is who I am. And that light completely changes the energy around you. It's this softening energy rather than, this is me, you have to see who I am, right? You feel the difference? And yeah, and I think, you're a good person to, it's a good match for you. But you guys both have similar energies that are happening. And so you guys can support each other with just, again, the self-love, the self-care, getting rid of the shame, the guilt, all of that stuff around that. Okay. Anything else?
No,
that's it? Okay. Yes. Awesome. I hope that is helpful for you, Olivia. Yes. Thanks for coming on.
Saying thank you. Everything makes sense.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. Hi, guys. This time goes by so fast. We'll bring up this one. Okay, so Megan and Marie, I'd love to hear if you have anything in the future for me. I've been living day to day, like go with the flow. Will I ever get more control? Well, living day to day and going with the flow sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Well, my first thought is like I heard spirit kind of chuckle in my head of like, well, control. It's not really possible in this world, in the sense that, I mean, we are all constantly co-creating, and we also have, you know, this, it's more of a self-actualizing, like that we are removing those blocks to who we are to become more of how God universe made us to be, right? And that's when we feel in alignment, when we are getting rid of our own ideas, our own judgments and blocks in ourselves. You know, so to me it's the gaining more control is, I would say, not like the highest goal that you can create for yourself.
Or any goal. I would say scratch that goal right off your thing.
Yeah.
You know, if I said to you, if somebody said, you know, if you, somebody who you trusted, who had, you know, Jesus or Buddha or, you know, Dalai Lama was sitting here right now and said to you, trust me, my child, you don't have to worry about the future. All you ever have to worry about is what's happening right here, right now.
Yeah. So
would you not be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I can do that?
So my favorite teachings come from, the one that I resonate with the most is from A Course in Miracles. And Jesus, through the Course in Miracles, says, the only concern that you ever need to have is the degree of which you have willingness to be guided and to hear like what is being asked of you by yourself, by like your true highest self. Like the only thing you need to be concerned about in every moment is your willingness to do as you're guided. Right. So to be completely wrong about your ideas of things, to completely forgive, which means correctly perceive, to completely have your ideas be thrown out the window and be completely willing to be completely present, and to like let yourself, you know, have that sense of courage to be willing to receive whatever.
Right.
But that's also a relationship you need to foster, right? So that's always my suggestion, is like fostering a deeper and deeper relationship with spirit. And having a deeper and deeper sense that there is a purpose to your life, right?
And you don't have to know what the purpose is right now, and you don't have to know where the purpose is going to take you.
And it's not usually a one statement thing,
right?
Like it's not like my life purpose is not just to be a holistic psychotherapist,
right?
You know, like it's so multifaceted. Like it's to live and learn love, like, and to teach and to teach and receive it. You know, like that is you know, that is it, and it comes in a million different forms every day. So when I let it come back to that unified understanding, my purpose is to receive and to give love, the golden rule, then I'm open every day to whatever form that needs to take.
And that's a great place to be. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but there's our planet, the Earth, is shifting, right? It's shifting and it's changing, and its vibration is changing. And so when that happens, we all have to either shift and change with it, or we crumble and fall apart. That's just the way it'll work. And I'm sure you guys, Rebecca, were talking about this earlier too. So many people are now like, you know, leaving their jobs, ending their relationships, having divorces. Things are starting to fall apart for them. And I was saying to Rebecca, I keep on hearing from Spirit is that what we have been doing has not been working. And Rebecca talks about putting yourself in the box. The boxes that we've been putting our beliefs and our ideas into are not fitting anymore. Right? Like even for people who, you know, even if you study the Course of Miracles, or you follow the Bible, or you follow Buddha, the teachings, allow yourself right now to let kind of things just expand for you, right? So don't always be like, okay, well, this is my book and I have to follow the rules in this book, because if I don't follow these rules, then all hell's going to break loose. Really kind of allow yourself to be in a place of the neutrality again, the, you know, being in ease, but also of, I'm open to new ideas. I'm open to see things in a new way. And again, when we, like, through meditation, through a practice of meditation, we create that space. But we also need to be doing the practice of mindfulness through our day to day, because this is where, again, in that space, we open ourselves up to direction and guidance. So if you're wondering what's coming for the future and what you're supposed to be doing for the future, if you allow yourself to get into that space of receiving, right, then that light shines through to you. That connection to source energy connects to you like a lightning bolt, and you will be supercharged to go wherever you're supposed to be going, right? As opposed to, shutting down your light and kind of like having your head in the past or head in the future or head in a book of rules, right? Just kind of opening up your energy and allowing that source energy to flow through you, and having the trusting and the knowing that you're always going to end up where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's the simplest things that we've been told since we were a child, do unto others as you do unto yourself. Like all of these little, but they're the truth. They're like the basics of it, right? And I think that's a big thing. We need to go back to the basics of it.
It's always, to me, it's always about the fundamentals.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm just getting quickly to is, don't let comfort be your guide. So
That's good.
You're moving forward. Often, like, our highest good comes through the things that we need the most courage and we go through the most discomfort to go through. Unfortunately, because it's only uncomfortable to our attachments, to our body,
right.
and that's not our reality. So it's really not letting comfort be your guide. It's like, well, I don't really like that idea. It's like, well, but that's when you need to kind of maybe sit with things and be like, okay,
try something new. You have to.
Yeah. What is the essence behind this? That it is much deeper than just the comfort level.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that is helpful. So we've got our friend Jan on here. We're going to pull him up.
Mm-hmm. I haven't looked at my past lives for a while and have felt stuck. I am wondering why and what is holding me back. Is there anything there that I haven't dealt with yet?
Well, you really should come and have a past life regression.
Those are helpful for sure.
Yes, absolutely. But again, I would say to you, this is so. Yes, as a soul, we've lived many, many lifetimes, and we've, had many different essences of our personality and of our being and who we are. And yes, we do carry some of the stuff. If you were choked in a past life, sometimes you'll have issues with stuff around your neck. If you drowned in a past life, sometimes you'll have issues with water. But again, my advice to you would be, don't put any energy and weight into that's my story because, right? So I would really so if you're feeling stuck, or you've felt stuck, or this is stuck right now, I really would bring all of your focus and your attention into right now, right? Because if I tune into your energy, there's and I know you're a brilliant guy, but I really can energetically feel like there's lots of little attachments to all kinds of sources. And so when we talked about this, you can have like an overload of information and an overload of data coming through. Again, going back to the kind of keeping things simple, bringing all of your energy back into right here, right now, and finding out. And so maybe stuck for you is part of your cycle, right? Maybe part of being stuck for you is where you're supposed to. Maybe you're supposed to allow yourself to feel that stuckness right now.
Yeah, like the winter time of those cycles I was mentioning is that reflection time, that downtime, and again, that could be in the cycle of our lives. That could be within a day or a couple days or a week or whatever. But it could just be that time that you're reflecting. The other thing that I'm getting so strong for you on is remembering that our ego does this funny thing of trying to make some of our issues that we seem to have more difficult to heal than others. Right. So ultimately, there is no order of difficulty in our healing, and there is no order of difficulty in the nature of miracles when we allow them to be applied. And a miracle is when we allow love to replace the fear, love to replace universe love, God's love to replace our judgments. So part of this I'm feeling so strong is this is your ego trying to make a story. It's oh, well, I have an upset in my life, a difficulty in my life that is from past lives. So therefore, it is more deeply ingrained and therefore more difficult than any other. Right. And ultimately, they are all the same. And it only is our degree to which we allow ourselves to understand that and allow that awareness to come in. Right. And it's only the degree to which we hold strong that, no, this is more difficult. This is more complex. And I'm totally talking to myself right now as I'm speaking this, but that we come up with this story of how much more difficult it is. Right. And that is one of the main aspects that we need to uproot and say, I don't know how difficult this is. I clearly don't know what this is about. Then I need to come back to, there is no order of difficulty. once I put myself back into the right space, which is like allowing the miracle of healing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And again, and I'm getting though that, like, again, making a mountain out of a molehill. Sometimes we do that, right? Like, it's our pain body and our ego who will like to make things much bigger and much larger, more, than what they are, so that we actually do, it takes away our power. It takes away our sense of. So I get this, and I don't know why they're giving me this vision right now, but they're giving me this idea for you that you kind of have to look at your life like a movie on a screen every once in a while.
Yeah, I always find that very helpful.
And with the idea of, like, okay, well, there's my character on the screen, and that's what my character is doing, and how my character interacts with that character. Well, isn't that interesting? And they're literally showing me for you that this would be a really good exercise to get insight as to why all of a sudden you're feeling the way you're feeling. And it's because there's part of you that kind of needs to step outside. And I don't have to tell you this because you probably know way more about this than I do, but about being the observer, right? Sometimes we have to do that kind of little step out, and that little being the observer. And in that observing mode, there's no thinking, there's no thought, there is no emotion.
Right. And I think the other part I'm getting to is like bringing this back to simplicity. Like in your language, you're saying, I'm wondering why and what is holding me back. In the very statement of that, you're setting up the idea that there is something holding you back that you don't know about and you're not capable of knowing about, right? That you're again, that difficulty element, right? So it's sometimes really, honestly, I've seen it again so many hundreds of times, of when we bring it back to the simplicity of, again, that decision process that I truly want whatever is standing in the way right now to be healed, period. And I'm willing to be completely and totally willing to receive that answer, whatever form it takes. So absolutely, if you feel inclined that it may have something to do with a past life energy, then I'm not saying throw that out with the bathwater. I'm just saying that what needs to be extracted, it's that whole piece before understanding as well. Like, let yourself be at peace that this will be healed and that you look forward to the way in which it will be healed, right? And so maybe that is through past life regression. Maybe that is through those awarenesses. But first you have to extract from yourself that you're holding this as a stipulation of your life right now, in your language of you saying that it's a block, right? And this can be really applied to anything in our life. That's where I always start with all my clients, is like, we first have to destroy this framework that you've put yourself into a box with, and then we can start working, right? Because otherwise we're deking all over your stipulations that you've created, right? And all these ideas of difficulty. But we have to smash that whole barrier first to then be able to truly be honest and vulnerable and willing to actually heal, right? So yes, I trust that's helpful.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to bring up Sarah. And so Sarah's talking about financial struggles, right? Will I see any relief soon? I always love when these questions come up. And it's funny because it's almost like when I'm asked specific questions like that, Spirit does this little chuckle in the back. They do this like, oh, my poor child. Do you really think that that's a problem for you?
Right. Yeah. No way. Yeah. That's often the response for me as well.
And so, Sarah, they're making me want to talk to you about what your relationship is like with money. So, and you like, my relationship with money. Yes, your relationship with money. So again, remember, let's keep it really simple and break it all down to everything has a vibration, right? Everything from my hair to this computer to money. And so you really need to ask yourself, what is my relationship like with money? What's the vibration? If I talk to you about money, and if I say, well, let's sit down for a moment and have a conversation about your financial picture, what emotions come up for you right away? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Anger, resentment? Are those kind of the vibrations that you've got when it comes to money? And if it is, then my answer to you would be, no, you will not see any relief any soon. And you don't want to hear that, right? Nobody wants to hear that. I could easily lie to you and say, yes, you're going to win the lottery tomorrow. It's going to be wonderful. And all your struggles are going to be gone. But the truth is that, money, your financial picture is not any different than the picture of your health or your love life or your living room or your, you know what I mean? I'm saying
all of which required engagement and action.
Right.
Right. They required the frame of mind, the decision-making process, the like actually working on it. There has to be a practical nature to this, you know, because I think it can be very easy for us to spiritualize these elements of our life, which the spiritual part of it in the approach is so insanely important. But it's not spirit itself that just waves a magic wand and then everything's lovely. Like, we still have to follow through as guided. We have to listen, then we have to learn, and then we have to do what it is, right? But it's like you need that listen and learning part, and then you need that doing part where you actually follow through on what you're being guided to. And Jodi's bringing up a great fundamental importance, which is like, what is the essence of that relationship there? Like, do you feel that it's unfair? And something that really helped me a long time ago, and I bring it up whenever I'm working through money issues, is that it could be helpful. May not be helpful to everybody, but it was very helpful to me. Is like almost envisioning money as if it's like a person that you can almost imagine in your mind, and someone that you like see yourself like conversing with and having a relationship with.
That's good.
Right. So like, yeah, like mine, I see this as a man that I like had this conversation with. I'm like, okay, I really want to heal my resentment towards you. I really want to heal my feelings of unfairness, and that I never seem to be able to please you. And then being able to have this, like, as if I'm having a conversation. We're all talking to ourselves anyway. We may as well start making it productive. And but yeah, that's just one thing that I have found helpful in the past, and I find that it helps me become aware, like, ooh, I like totally hate him right now, and I don't want to be hating anybody, let alone money.
Right.
You know, so obviously my relationship is not working. Right.
Yeah. And for me, again, you know, this is one of my life lessons as well, because I say, you know, back in the beginning of my career, I would say to people, and it was my story, I love doing this stuff so much, I would do it for free. And I ended up doing it for free for a long time. But so it's your, how you feel around money. And so, Sarah, I would say to you, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? And how does money fit into that? And how do you see money making that kind of stuff happen for you? And so really jump on the vibration of excitement around money, about, you know, the joy that money gives you, the comfort, the security. So focus on all of that, and make sure that when you tune into money and you tune into the talking about your financial struggles, you flip them into that, you know, into that mode. And then, honest to God, you will start to see things shift for you. The relief will come instantly for you, because instantly you're going to have a shift within your own vibration, right? And trust me, your financial situation is not going to get, it's not going to change for the better or the worse just because you're worrying about it.
Nope.
Right? It's not going to do anything just because you are working hard.
Well, this is the thing. We have to unpack this whole, like, look at all this energy I'm putting into it. Isn't it? Like, this is the nature of our world, of all our parents. Like, there's an ancestral energy to this, because many of us have mothers and fathers and grandparents that were warriors.
You have to work hard for the money, though. That's always been ingrained in it, right?
Yeah. And there is an aspect to that. You do need to work and have an exchange system. There needs to be an exchange system.
Absolutely.
Like, things of value need to be exchanged.
Right.
But we need to extract the hardship part, the sacrifice, all of this difficulty that we latch on to these ideas. And that's often what needs to be cleansed of this, because this is still going to require you to do something. You're still going to have to work. But work actually, I mean, we all know this feeling when we're doing something we truly love, even if it was a little bit effort, like had some effort involved, that's something that, like, when you sing down at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, this feels awesome, right? And there's a reason why there's that deeper sense of satisfaction with those things. We're built actually to put like solid effort into things, but we need to cleanse of all this negative story that's around it, for sure. But I do feel a sense of, like, you need to sit down with a piece of paper and, like, hash out what money's coming in, what money's going out, looking at your, like, it's what I call trimming the fat, like looking through your expenses, like really trimming out things that are not necessary.
And not being afraid of it, though, too.
And not being afraid of it.
Right.
And for me, it always has been, like, seeing resourcefulness as a really good quality to cultivate in myself, like, to be really resourceful. Like, how do I really need to go buy a new one of those, or could I recycle or reuse something, or just any way? I just feel like there's something around that. There's something that you could tweak that actually could free up a little bit of money that will make just a little bit of a difference, and then it will slowly grow.
Good.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
trust
awesome.
that makes sense.
That's awesome. And I think for everybody, anyone out there, and I mean, we all have times where money becomes, a struggle in our lives, or we create the struggle in our lives around money, which is a better way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love for this, I love listening to Abraham Hicks. I love Esther Hicks and the teachings of Abraham. And I love when they remind me that, in my vortex, and so she usually uses the language of vortex, but we can say universe or world or experience. It's never ending abundance, right? This is true.
God's nature is to give 100%.
Absolutely.
All the time. But we don't understand that. And we have blocks to that.
Right.
And those are our blocks.
Absolutely.
Those are our blocks.
Absolutely. And so I always kind of look at if we are looking at, there's, the bank of the world or the bank of the universe, and its supply is never ending to me. I just need to get into a vibrational match with it.
Yeah.
So meaning I need to get let go of the heavy human stuff, the fear, the anxiety, the worry, I need to let go of that stuff. And my vibration goes up. When it goes up, then I become in alignment with receiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's really a mindset. And so watching your language, when you say my struggles, my financial struggles, again, that's your perception. You're creating a struggle. It's not really a struggle. It's part of the story that you're writing. So I hope something in there goes boom, and then you're like, yeah, okay, I got it. Awesome. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes we have that immediate shift.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we need to get hit over the head with the frying pan too.
Yes. Yes. But and then also again, planting seeds. Sometimes a seed needs a little bit of time to germinate. So maybe you're like, okay, these ideas sort of make sense. Sometimes you'll be totally resistant to ideas. I've had many clients over the years be like, I don't get what she's saying.
Right.
And then 2 years later, be like, Rebecca, I totally get it. And
right.
it's like everything's changed now. I mean, sometimes things just take time, and we need to again be patient with ourselves, right? And know that the answer is there for us. But again, that willingness to receive it and allow it to be practiced and learned in our life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Do we want to? Yay! Amazing, positive, higher vibrations.
Thanks, John.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do on here, guys. Okay, so I think I think this was good. The conversation was good. I hope that remember again, if we didn't pick you on here, but stuff came up and it resonates with you, take the time to kind of reflect on it, to let your whole being absorb the message. Because when we come on here, we come on with the intention of many people getting many insights. And so I hope that you will allow yourself to do that, allow that light bulb to go off, allow that aha moment to happen for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, our intention is for these messages to apply to your specific questions, but to have a universal tone to them that they can be applied to other issues, because there really is only so many issues of the ego. There's only so many issues of our separation.
Right.
And yeah, there's different topics and different specifics, but ultimately there's one problem that we're all solving together, and that's our separation in all the forms that it takes.
So. Absolutely. Okay. So go on to the Being in Balance with Medium Jodi Jones page, the events page. I just launched a whole bunch of upcoming events, so please go and check that out. Rebecca and I are going to work on our August Soul to Soul conversations, and we are actually going to bring on a guest speaker. And so we are going to, and if there is somebody out there that you guys really look for inspiration from or has made some impact in your life, please message us on Facebook, and we will try and get them to come on and be a speaker on our Soul to Soul conversations. And we kind of want to have the idea of bringing on, many human beings, all in different levels, to be able to talk to us about what their struggles have been, what their struggles are, and then also to give us the insight to what tools have helped them and what's made a difference for them in their lives. And again, when we do this collectively, we are all helping each other. Right? Absolutely. So absolutely send us any ideas of who you'd like us to have on as a guest speaker. And nobody's too big or too large, right? You never, right? We could bring on, I don't know who we can.
I don't know. Whoever is meant to be, I trust it in. Yeah, but whoever you feel called to, please share with us, and we would love to have a great conversation.
And what is also kind of a cool thing to do as well, I hope you guys are all doing some kind of journaling, because it's a great way, a great insight into who you are and what's happening on your path. But you can look over and your notes, and when we get together next time, you can kind of be like, okay, here's a theme of what's been going on for me, and here are some areas of my life that I kind of really need some help on, and then bring it to this forum. And then that's where we'll be able to shine the light on it for you and work through some things together. Okay, so sending huge light and love to you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. We will see you guys again well, you'll see me on Facebook Live. I think on August 8th, I'm doing the free reading. So that's when you can come and we'll do the mediumship and the psychic readings. So go to that event and click going so that you know that when I'm live. And check out the events because we have some really, really cool events happening. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye,
Take care.